Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Alhamdulillah, in this video, we're going to start talking about a Noon As-Sakinah with Tanween. We're going to start talking about the ruling of the Noon that has a Sukoon on it and the Tanween. So we covered before that one of the things that's studied in Tajweed is tafa'ul huruf, the interaction that happens between two letters, meaning that when one specific letter will come after another letter, a specific result or a specific effect will happen. Now, this will happen with certain letters in the Arabic language where when you have these two types of letters that come together, you're going to have to pronounce something in a specific fashion. And one of the letters that is special in that sense is a Noon As-Sakinah and the Tanween. And we're going to be exploring this in the coming videos. So the Noon with Sukoon or the Tanween, they can have four possible relationships with the letters that come after it. Okay, there are four possible relationships that the Noon As-Sakinah and the Tanween can have with other letters. Either you're going to do Idhar or Idgham or Qalb or Ikhfa, depending on the letters that are going to come after the Noon As-Sakinah or the Tanween. In this video, we're only going to explore Al-Idhar. When are you going to do Al-Idhar with the Noon As-Sakinah and the Tanween? And in later videos, we're going to explain Al-Idgham, Wal-Qalb, Wal-Ikhfa. So what is Al-Idhar? Al-Idhar is that you clearly pronounce the Noon As-Sakinah or the Tanween. For example, here I would say Salamun hiya. So I'm clearly pronouncing the Tanween in Salam, saying Salamun hiya. Now the question is, when are you going to say this? When are you going to do Idhar of the Noon As-Sakinah or the Tanween? So an Idhar is that you clearly pronounce the Noon As-Sakinah or the Tanween if one of the 6 throat letters come after it. So there are 6 letters in the Arabic language that come from the throat, the Hamza and the Ha that come from your vocal cord, the Ayn and the Ha that come from the middle of your throat, and the Ghayn and the Kha which come from the top of your throat. So whenever there's a Noon As-Sakinah, a Noon with a Sukoon on it, or a Tanween, and it's followed by one of these 6 throat letters, then you're going to clearly pronounce the Noon As-Sakinah or the Tanween. So here I'm going to say min khawf, min khawf. So I'm clearly pronouncing the Noon As-Sakinah saying min. Likewise here I'm going to clearly pronounce the Tanween saying salamun hiya. So to see how this should be pronounced, for the Noon As-Sakinah or the Noon with Sukoon on it, it is pronounced as it is written. It is pronounced as is it written. For the Tanween, it's written like this, salamun hiya. But we know, of course, that the Tanween is in fact a Sukoon that is hidden. So it will be pronounced, of course, as salamun hiya. So this is how you pronounce the Idhar. Now, what are the signs, or what is the sign of Idhar in the Mus'haf? Because in the Mus'haf, if you look at the Noon As-Sakinah, and if you look at the Tanween, you're going to notice that sometimes it's written differently than other times. So when Idhar is happening with a Noon As-Sakin in the Quran, in the Mus'haf yani, the people who write the Mus'haf, the scholars who write the Mus'haf, they're going to write the Noon with a Sukoon on top like this. You're going to clearly see a Sukoon on top of the Noon As-Sakinah if there is Idhar happening. That's from the rules, if you will, of writing down the Mus'haf. For the Tanween, the 2 haraka will be directly on top of each other. So for the Tanween, when you're doing Idhar of the Tanween in the Quran, the way that they write the Mus'haf, they're going to clearly show that the 2 haraka are coming directly on top of each other, like this. So to do some practice and to see some examples, we have examples of the Noon with a Sukoon on it. Min haythu, min ahli, min ghislin, anhum, liman khashiya, an'amta. So in all these scenarios, we had a Noon with a Sukoon on it, followed by a throat letter, and thus we clearly pronounced it. For the Tanween, Narun Hamiyah. So I'm clearly pronouncing the in Narun Hamiyah. عبدا إذا أجر غير سلام هي كاذبة خاطئة يومئذ عليها. So in all these scenarios, I'm clearly pronouncing the tanween at the end. Why? Because there's a throat letter coming after, and thus we have al-idhar. So that is what al-idhar is. It's one of the four possible relationships that the noon with a sukoon on it or the tanween can have with other letters. Idgham and then qalb and ikhfa, inshallah, will be covered in later videos.